guns making their way into the Mall of America where they're clearly prohibited. So how'd that happen? We're going to take a look at what these gun-free zones are doing with spokesman for the Gun Owners of America this hour. So let's bring in our weekend panel. We have filmmaker and content creator at Fog City Midge, Maggie Mcarthy, and with us also conservative commentator and producer, screenwriter Chad Jackson. All right, folks. Midge, it's good to have you back. You haven't been on here in quite some time.
It's been a while. It's good to be back. It's good to see you, Carl and Amanda, as always.
See you as well. I feel like both of you guys combined, we're getting ready to make a film right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's go into this military stuff. I mean, all branches of the military right now are seeing a recruiting shortfall this year. Take a look at what Bill Maher had to say.
Military recruitment is down by the most since the end of the draft because mainly 17 to 24-year-olds are too fat to fight. At some point, acceptance becomes enabling. And if you're in any way participating in this joyful celebration of gluttony that goes on now, you have blood on your hands. Full stop.
I mean, some of what he said, I don't think many people can disagree with. This is a constant conversation we've been having, the health of Americans and how it relates to our military. I'm sure both of you have seen some of the recruitment ads that we're seeing as well, since we're speaking to two people who work with film and media. Yeah. Chad, the Army, or the U.S. Army that is reaching only 66% of its annual recruitment goal. What do you think is going on?
Well, I do think Bill Maher is onto something, but I don't think it only has something to do with obesity. I think it's also to a decline in masculinity in this generation. If you look at, for example, footage of young men who were interviewed back in the 1960s regarding whether or not they were enthusiastic about going to go fight communism in Vietnam, many of them thought it was their duty, that they were obliged to do so and that they were happy to do so. If you ask the average 17 or 18-year-old today whether they would fight China or, you know, one of these foreign countries if they were to pose a threat against us, many of them will say, well, no, I will actually join in forces against America because they genuinely believe that America is systemically racist, that it is oppressive to minorities and other people groups, and so this is kind of where we are. But yeah, I do think the feminization of men is part and parcel of where we are right now.
I mean, Midge, this is so infuriating to me when I see these things like this. And like, I agree with Bill Maher, I think, and we had a recruiter on, I think, like, what, 2 weeks ago or something, who said
the same thing.
The exact same thing. So, like, what do you make of it?
As a former model and actress, I have to say that I am so tired of seeing these heavy models in lingerie and swimwear. So as much as I hate to admit it, I have to say that I do agree with Bill Maher on this one. And I say that, of course, very tongue-in-cheek, but we really need to have a national conversation, and we need to look in the mirror and address the obesity epidemic in this country, because we can't be changing our national security standards just to make overweight people feel better about their bodies. And that's really what this boils down to.
The key word right there are national security standards.
Yeah, no, actually, that's probably the most concise way to put it. Now, Chad, the Inflation Reduction Act, it would make the IRS larger than the Pentagon, the State Department, FBI, and Border Patrol combined. Now, this issue is not that we need more IRS agents, but because the federal government has made our tax code so complicated that they somehow are now justifying the need for like 87,000 more IRS agents. You know, in 1913, the federal tax form was 1 page, Chad. Why can't we just go back to that and not hire 87,000 more people in the IRS?
That's a great question, Carl. And I think it's indicative, too, of the so-called expert class and our politicians, that they believe the average American is so stupid that all they need to do to get us to go along with any bill is to give it some flashy name for something that we can all get behind. I mean, who wouldn't be against the reduction of inflation? But as you point out, this bill is terrible for the American people and for our country at large.
Maggie, going off of what Chad just said about people believing the American people aren't smart enough to do this, they have overcomplicated this system. Like Carl said, it went from 1 page to many pages, now adding more to people in the IRS.
My tax return last year was almost 400 pages. Yeah. And I'm not like a super
That's
wealthy
like a
guy
whole
with like
novel right there.
Yeah, but I'm not like, I don't have like diversified assets in every country, you know?
Maggie, what's your take on this?
Yeah, this is what we call like a Washington dream bill, where they just sort of cram a bunch of things into it. And it's really sad, because I think many Americans can remember back to a time when we used to actually pass a budget in this country. And now they've just got these massive spending bills. This bill, they want to cover healthcare, they want to cover climate, but they give it this euphemistic name like the Inflation Reduction Act. And of course, who wouldn't want to support that? But what this bill is actually going to do is it's going to tax medium and small businesses. It's going to put more burden on regular Americans. And really, it's just a big payoff for crooks and lobbyists in Washington before the midterms. So I think that any American should just be terrified when they see something like this. It's a big mess.
The Inflation Reduction Act for $390 billion going towards climate and energy. $300 billion to reduce the deficit. Then, like you said, there's also the taxes on corporations.
Yeah, well, even CNBC, okay, they've turned the corner on this. Host Joe Kernan, take a listen to this.
When you hear that they named it the Inflation Reduction Act, do you just laugh out loud? I mean, do you know how Washington works? But do you see the sort of irony in tacking on another $700 billion with tax increases and spending involved? Does that in any way look like an inflation reduction bill to you?
Chad, I mean,
that pan to the other guy's face says it all. He just is sitting there like, yeah, I'm shocked. I don't have anything to say.
Chad, what do you think?
No, I mean, he's absolutely right. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's just laughable that that's what they would call it when, again, nobody is served well, at least as far as average American citizens are concerned. But as your other guest pointed out so eloquently, you do have people in the political class and the so-called expert class who do get to line their own pockets, in a sense, with this bill.
Yeah, with $390 billion. Like, Solyndra was considered the catastrophe of green energy under Obama, and it was like $500 million with an M. This is $390 billion going to companies that are going to mow down rainforests, strip mine the heck out of the area, and put it into batteries and solar panels that are more waste than, I mean, like, super job energy, folks. Right, Maggie?
It's just a joke, right? Our government can't really solve any major problems, so why would we expect them to solve the climate, healthcare, and inflation all in one bill? I mean, this should terrify people, truly.
When I spoke to somebody who works in the energy field, and one of the things that they mentioned was they actually need to do the work to make sure it's sustainable instead of passing these bills that just go right to what you're saying, which does include destruction, and it ends up not being as sustainable. Chad, should their focus be elsewhere instead of just passing this money kind of with a name and a label?
Yeah, absolutely. I do think their focus should be elsewhere. I tend to take the Barry Goldwater approach, where if you're in Congress, you should take things a little bit more slowly. I feel like it's interesting to see Republicans who are so quick to jump on the bandwagon and trying to fix problems that the Democrats say are there. Yep. There is no huge climate issue that we need to tackle. I feel like with our energy situation, it's clear that there is an agenda, and the Democrats are pushing it, and Republicans are just caught sleeping in many ways. Yeah. And so I hope that during the vote-a-rama, Republicans will do what they can to try to tamper this situation.
Yeah, the vote-a-rama.
The vote-a-rama. You know, it's interesting too. It's like, folks at home, like, look, Republicans are not the solutions to all your problems, but Democrats are probably the cause of most of them. It's just it is what it is.
I don't know if everyone's going to agree with that, but I will say, yeah, you have to look at both sides right there, because both sides do have some sort of agenda.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. With inflation at its highest level in 40 years and interest rates skyrocketing, your retirement plans are in danger. Well, our friends at American Hartford Gold can help show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Yeah. If you call them right now, they have a special offer. They will give you a free gold coin on your first qualifying order. So don't wait. Call now. Here's the number. 866-935-4309. That's 866-935-4309, or text Newsmax to 65532. That's Newsmax to 65532. Thank you.